What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review, and this time we're going to be covering Reign of the Supermen, the sequel to The Death of Superman. Let's waste no time. Let's get right into this. So, Reign of the Superman takes place 6 months after the events of The Death of Superman, and in that time frame, four mysterious men have come to Metropolis, all bearing similar qualities to the Man of Steel himself. Who are these four men? Let's go down the list and let's talk about this film. I'm going to give you things that I like and things that I didn't really care for. So let's start off with the positives as usual. Positives. The cast. The voice cast in this movie is solid, like it always is. We got some original alums from the previous movies making their return. They don't have particularly big roles in this movie, but what they do have, it's okay. They're mostly in fight scenes, and it's they do their standard job. But this movie's more focused on the new cast, and this is a more Superman centric movie, which I can appreciate. This is a Superman movie first, everything else second. So the new additions, we have Cress Williams, who voices John Henry Irons, the Man of Steel. I really enjoyed Cress Williams as Steel. I thought he did a really good job. I like the budding partnership he has with Lois Lane as they become an investigative team, trying to figure out what's going on with Lex Luthor and everything else. I thought Cress brought a lot of brought a heroic quality to the Steel character, and he also has some funny lines here and there. I thought Cress did a solid job with the role. Cameron Monaghan, who is known for playing Jeremiah and Jerome in the Gotham show, he plays Superboy, and I really like him as Superboy. He's very very funny. I think he has a lot of funny lines. I like how he's always having like these '90s quotes, and since the Death and Reign of the Superman came out in the '90s, it's a nice little homage to that kind of dialogue that was taking place back then through Superboy. I thought Cameron's delivery was really really good, and again I think he's really really funny. He has a lot of cool fight scenes, and I like the relationship and twist that he has with Lex Luthor. I thought that was also pretty cool and pretty interesting as well. We found out that he's a clone who's mixed with Superman and Lex Luthor's DNA. Essentially, he's the son of Superman and the son of Lex. It's weird, but it's very interesting at the same time. He has Superman's power and that Luthor intellect, as to quote Lex Luthor from the film. So I thought that was pretty cool, just because. Uh, we have the Eradicator. I forget the actor who voices the Eradicator. I apologize, but I like him. I like the dry stoicness that the actor brings to the voice of the Eradicator. Of course, it's revealed that the Eradicator is pretty much a projection and pretty much a Kryptonian force that's protecting Kal-El while he's recuperating from the events of the previous movie and his beatdown by Doomsday. So I like what I saw from the Eradicator, but just in general, as the Eradicator, as a character himself, I thought he was pretty cool. He has a lot of cool fights and a lot of cool battles. Uh, and now we get to Cyborg Superman, who is voiced by both Jerry O'Connelly and Patrick Fabian. Patrick Fabian, reprising his role as Hank Henshaw from Death of Superman, is now pretty much the secondary main villain of this movie. But I think, and I do like how Jerry O'Connelly brings two distinct voices to Superman. When he's playing Kal-El, he's playing Kal-El. When he's playing Cyborg Superman, he's playing Cyborg Superman as Hank Henshaw. And when Hank Henshaw gets in full control as a Cyborg Superman, he's just. I think Fabian does a fantastic job. Of course, Fabian doesn't come to the end of the movie. That's when his voice acting really starts to mode, because for the majority it's mostly Jerry O'Connelly, who's doing a fantastic job as playing the evil cyborg Superman. But when Fabian takes over near the end of the film, I thought Fabian really brought it. He had a lot of menace to him. I think he fit the role perfectly. I like his vendetta he has against Superman. If you've seen Death of Superman, you know that he was one of the astronauts who pretty much his wife died and his crew died, and he has a grudge against Superman because right before his apparent death, he was 100% confident that they were going to be saved by Superman, and Superman never showed up. So in Hank Henshaw's mind, he holds Superman responsible for the death of his wife and the loss of his life. But peel back the onion even more, it's revealed that Cyborg Superman is just a puppet because the man pulling the strings this whole time, the man who sent who sent Doomsday to Earth to destroy the Justice League and Superman. It's revealed that Darkseid is the ultimate puppet master, and Darkseid is voiced by Tony Todd, who did an awesome job voicing the character. Tony Todd, got nothing bad to say about Tony Todd. He's the fucking Candyman, and all the menace and elegance he brings to Candyman, he brings to Darkseid. I thought in the scenes that Darkseid was in, I thought Tony Todd delivered the goods. If I have one gripe, I would have liked to have seen Darkseid just have a little bit of a fight scene with somebody, which he didn't. Yeah, you would have been retreading Justice League War, but come on, it's Tony Todd as Darkseid. This ain't Stephen Blum. This is Tony Todd. He's an accomplished actor. The man is awesome, and he's a better actor than Stephen Blum. Nothing against Stephen Blum, but you ain't Tony Todd, my man. Tony Todd is awesome, and Tony Todd's the voice of Darkseid is too perfect for me. And I hope he comes back as Darkseid too, especially in this continuity, because there's so much more you can do with Darkseid in general as a character. And now that you have a more credible voice behind him, makes me want to see him even more. So, and again, but I do like the whole idea of Darkseid being this puppet master manipulating events. You know, he brought Doomsday to Earth. He manipulated Hank Henshaw into becoming Cyborg Superman and pretty much creating this thing called the Cyber Corps, where they become his slaves, pretty much, so he can turn the Earth into a new apocalypse. So, I thought all that stuff was really well handled, and of course, you know, Superboy and Steel, they have to try and stop this, and they got, by doing so, they also got to we got to find out what happened to the Justice League. Apparently, the Justice League were thought to be dead, but they were actually transported to another part of the universe, nowhere to be found. So pretty much Lex Luthor has to team up with Lois, Superboy, and Steel to try and figure out how to stop what's happening with Darkseid and Cyber Superman. And all in all, Lex Luthor himself having a mother box of his own as an endgame. And of course, Lex Luthor uses that mother box to bring the Justice League back to Earth. And that's when this whole brawl ensues. But the best part of this movie is when Superboy and Steel go to the Fortress of Solitude and they find Superman, and it's the Superman we got in the Reign of Superman. No, the black suit, the long hair, beard, looking like a badass. And I like how he's not fully powered. You know what I'm saying? Like he still has some of those Superman qualities to him, but since he's still rejuvenating and recuperating from a death experience, he's more human. And it really shows when he's having the fight with Cyborg Superman on the Watchtower, and he's pretty much getting his ass kicked. And he finally gets his strength when he's exposed to the sun's radiation, and that's when he becomes the Superman that we all know and love, and he takes down Cyborg Superman, saving the world. But I like all this stuff, you know. I like the scene where Lois and Clark finally reunite after she sees him, which I thought was really, really cool. Even though to me, it had a moment where it felt a little bit awkward. But you know, then they fixed it up a little bit, which I thought was cool. Jerry O'Connell as Superman, I really like him as Superman, and I really like him in this movie. I thought he did a great job. Like I said, he did a good job playing Cyborg Superman, and he did a great job playing regular Superman. The man really gave two distinct personalities to both those different Supermans, and I can't praise him enough for creating two different characters. I thought, again, it was excellent. I think the story is really well told. Me personally, I think this is a better story than The Death of Superman, mainly because Reign of the Superman actually has a story to it, and it actually ties up. What's the word I'm looking for? It gives explanation to certain events. You know what I'm saying? Like we find out how Doomsday got to Earth, what his purpose was, and it just opens up the world just a bit more, and it becomes more prevalent because there's a post-credit scene that's more prevalent in the post-credit scene where we find out that the League are going to go to Apocalypse themselves and bring the fight to Darkseid's doorstep. In so doing so, Lex Luthor himself is offering his services to be an associated member of the Justice League because he has his own bone to pick with Darkseid. So I like all that stuff. I thought that was pretty cool, and it's like an unholy alliance. The badass villain of DC has to join up with the superheroes to take on a much more greater, serious threat. And I can't wait to see how that plays out in the next movie when that does happen. I think it's going to be pretty cool. So yeah, I had a real fun time with Reign of the Superman. I think this is a really good movie. I like it slightly better than Death of Superman. Although I do like Death of Superman, I think Reign is a little bit better. I think the story is much better. I like how it handles the four imposter Supermen, and I like what it sets up for the future. But I do like how it's its own self-contained story that has a beginning, it has a middle, and it has an end. And I think it's a worthy tie-up to, like I said, the Death of Superman and this current ring string of storylines, opening up the next set of storylines. I thought this movie did a good job at setting all that stuff up. So, my final grade for Reign of the Superman, I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. I highly enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it for those who like these DC animated movies. And if you like Death of Superman, there's no reason why you're not going to like the Reign of the Superman. Well, those are my thoughts on Reign of the Superman. Let me know yours in the comment sections below. Like this video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.